The U.S. financial system is being rewired right now.
And if you don't understand this new plumbing, your portfolio is absolutely going to be left in the dust. But stick with me, and I'll show you the one digital asset that already has the regulatory green light to power this entire new system. So here's the twist. While everybody has their eyes glued to Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're both still stuck in regulatory limbo here in the United States. In stark contrast, after some major legal developments, XRP is one of the only major digital assets with verified legal clarity in the US. And let me tell you, that's not just some minor detail. It's the key that unlocks the door for serious institutional money. You're watching Crypto Global News, and I have to be direct, if you're watching this without a subscription, you are missing critical alerts. The algorithm is literally designed to hide this content from you next week. So do yourself a favor, click subscribe right now to stay on the timeline and get this intel before everyone else. Okay, so to really grasp the sheer magnitude of this shift, we first have to take a look under the hood at the old financial plumbing. We need to understand why the current system is, well, fundamentally broken. Just look at this direct comparison. It's night and day. The legacy SWIFT system takes 3 to 5 days to settle a payment. The XRP Ledger? 3 to 5 seconds. But here's the crucial point. SWIFT is just a glorified messaging system. It doesn't actually move the money, which creates massive counterparty risk. The XRP Ledger, on the other hand, combines the message and the final settlement into one single real-time transaction, completely wiping that risk off the table. So, you've got this incredible performance, but for any big institution, that's only half the story. The single most important factor is getting that regulatory green light and successfully navigating the digital asset maze.
And this right here is a verified statement. Following significant legal developments, XRP is one of the few digital assets with a specific legal classification in the US. So why does this matter so much? Because for these huge, risk-averse financial institutions, this kind of clarity is everything. It completely removes the fog of ambiguity that plagues the rest of the market and gives them a clear, clean runway for integration.
This regulatory clarity, it unlocks the answer to the multi-trillion-dollar question. In the coming world, this fragmented soup of CBDCs, stablecoins, and countless tokenized assets, how in the world do you connect everything efficiently? The answer is baked right into the ledger's core design. You see, this wasn't built for retail speculation. Nope. It was engineered from day one, from the ground up, for institutional scale.
And the performance numbers are just staggering. We are talking 3 to 5 seconds for absolute 100% irreversible transaction finality. Not 10 minutes, not an hour. Seconds. That's the speed of modern finance.
And the cost to get that incredible speed and security? It's practically nothing. The average transaction fee is a tiny fraction of a cent. This is what makes running millions of transactions a day economically viable for these institutions.
This whole process is known as atomic settlement. It sounds complex, but it's really not. First, the value transfer begins. But instead of just sending a message like SWIFT does, the ledger instantly combines the messaging and the settlement into one real-time atomic transaction. This means by the time the message is received, the funds have already settled. And the result? The systemic risk that builds up over days in the old network is just gone, completely eliminated.
So you take all these features, the insane speed, the dirt-cheap cost, and the elimination of risk, and what do they enable? They enable its primary core function, to be a true, neutral bridge that solves the massive problem of market fragmentation. So, what on earth is a neutral bridge asset? Think of it like a universal adapter for value. Instead of needing a direct market for every pair of currencies or tokenized assets, you just use XRP as the go-between. This completely eliminates the need for banks to tie up billions and billions of dollars in pre-funded accounts all over the world. It is a monumental leap in efficiency. Speaking of bridging assets, I'm actually curious to hear what you think. We just posted a new poll in the community tab asking which tokenized asset you believe will be the very first one bridged at scale with this technology. Go vote right now and see what everyone else is thinking. When you put this all together, when you really look at the whole picture, the conclusion is unavoidable. The institutions are coming. In fact, the floodgates are already starting to creak open. Let's just run down the full institutional checklist. U.S. legal clarity? Check. Achieved. Maturing investment vehicles like ETFs that they can actually use? Check. They're here. Institutional-grade custody to keep the assets safe?
Check. Available now. And all of this is built on its core utility as a neutral bridge asset and a proven solution to systemic risk. The case is closed. Look, every single one of those points is a major market-moving development. If you want to get this kind of intelligence first, before it ever hits the mainstream, you need to be on my Telegram channel. Scan the QR code on your screen or use the link down in the description and join us now. And all of this leads us to the final critical question. With regulatory clarity now set in stone here in the US, it's no longer a question of if, it's a question of when. So which US bank will be the first to publicly announce that they are using XRP for settlement?
We have intel on the front runner, and that is going to be the entire focus of our next briefing. You don't want to miss it. For now, if you want to understand how all of this fits into the bigger global picture of central bank digital currencies, you need to watch the explainer that's popping up on your screen right now.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.